point of view were pretty well meaningless. There are a couple of specific questions I'd like to ask you. Are you going to release this information? Are you going to make public the information you've just presented today? Are you going to put it on your website? Are you going to send a copy of it to Julie as slides?
No, we're not.
Why not?
Why not?
Is it because it's a secret and you don't actually want people to investigate it?
Because
there's some handouts afterwards, which is
but that's not the same. That's not the same.
Why don't you release the PowerPoint presentation?
Okay, I've just been advised that we have the handout that Glenn referred to earlier on has some of the slides. It's not all of the slides from the presentation. The varying levels of information, it's not company policy, so I'm not at liberty to release that to you, I'm afraid.
They're not.
That was the answer.
They're completely autonomous.
The question you didn't answer is why. Why are you keeping this information secret?
It's not being kept secret. It's just been shared with you, or a small portion of it's been shared with you, but it's not.
But you don't like it to be filmed? You don't like anything out there?
It's not Network Rail's policy to provide...
Right, that's right.
Why?
That's the answer.
Why?
I'll move on from that. You're obviously very secretive about this. I'd like to understand why. There is one more question I've got for you. David Higgins, the CEO of Network Rail, wrote to David Burrows, our local MP, and he said quite clearly, categorically and specifically that Network Rail had screwed up on their communication in Grange Park. They would not do it again, and that they'd cut down an excessive number of trees. They have done precisely the same thing here. They've done precisely the same thing in Oxford. Now, did I misunderstand what David Higgins said? Did David Higgins not convey it to you people, or do you just choose to ignore what he told you?
With all due respect, Grange Park is a very different location to here.
It's the principle. It's the principle.
I am familiar with Grange Park, having grown up in that area personally.
What's your specific answer to the specific question?
Your specific question with regard to communication?
Yeah.
And the lessons learned.
Okay, this morning I was at a Network Rail company brief in the Mermaid Theatre in London. David Higgins was the speaker. He opened the event. It was a 2-hour tour that's going around the country, meeting Network Rail people, and he admitted that often we mess up communicating and we need to be better at it.
So, and David Higgins does too, because he still hasn't answered my letter from 2.5 weeks ago, so he's not a prime candidate for communication.
Yeah, we've got another question for this, and then the
leads me on nicely. Hi, my name is Freya Mills, and I'm a resident on Cromwell Road, where your train is going to derail and go into my back garden. The Network Rail Policy Sustainability document expresses a commitment to respond in a professional and timely manner to public inquiries and to continually improve public and neighbourhood perception. Do you think giving a selected few residents less than 24 hours notice before tree clearance was to start on Cromwell Road was fulfilling this commitment?
And I just want to add something to that. Given that I was outside, someone said this study was started 5 years ago, 4 years ago, as to what to do with that section of track. Why were we given 24 hours? If you've known that this might happen.
Let him answer this question about the very short notice you were given already.
The study of 5 years that Simon referred to, perhaps Simon
the study of clay embankments in the southeast started about 5 years ago. To understand the problem, understand how we manage that problem. It wasn't 5 years ago at Cromwell Road.
Right, okay, but prior to you starting, you could have given us a bit more than 24 hours notice.
No, because we've stopped you.
We've stopped you.
Nothing to do with you. You were standing there ready to go.
I have to intervene here because I was one of the first people.
And I spoke to you.
Yes, and
I spoke to you, and I said to you, no work would go on in Cromwell Road until...
Your words to me were, we knew we would have trouble with this side of the embankment, so we're starting on that side. And there were 30 people. And then I left this map from you, which shows a small area clustered cluster of trees to be removed on Belmont Road, they took the whole lot down. And I have yet to get a date for these photographs. Melanie, you said everything would be explained this evening. Are you going to give me a date for these outdated photographs on the map to which the contractors were?
Are
you going to give it to me?
I don't actually work to them pictures. I actually work.
That's not what you said that day.
Okay, I think John Perez wants to answer this question about the shortness of the time scale.
Okay,
Can we just...
It's a relevant question to answer this, because as president I live in Railway Avenue. Now if there's any maintenance work on the tracks, without fail, as far as I'm knowledgeable, we will all be informed.
Right,
so what is the agenda with the trees? Why have you got it in for the freaking trees? Why aren't we told when you're doing the work along the embankment? Now it's a simple question. Can we have a simple answer? Not an excuse. I want an answer to that question.
Can you answer the shortness of the warning?
No information at all.
Okay.
With regard,
apart from a concerned resident who happened to have one of the half a dozen that was distributed down Cromwell Road.
with regard to the notification period, our company does have a notification period for works. The works that we're doing along the back of Cromwell Road actually are not mandated to advise neighbours we're doing those works.
Why? Why not?
It's just,
They live there.
Just a quick just let them continue, because that's an interesting point.
I want to build on what John said.
Oh, you're the PR man.
Just for a second.
I'm not a PR man.
Well, who is the PR person here?
Nobody.
Melanie Fry.
Can I just hold everyone there? Myself and James are community relations, okay? I wasn't actually aware of these works. We are apologising that, we didn't send out notifications, so can we please just have one question at a time? And take it
Do you think you should resign in the morning if you're community relations and you've done your job so badly?
Excuse me, I'm going to quote this because it builds on these two questions. And we're actually talking about your sustainability document.
Well, can I just hold you for a second?
It does.
Yeah, I think.
It builds on what Freya said. It builds
In
on
a
what
second,
John said.
I think they just want to answer this question about the short notice. Let's just.
But this builds on that.
I'll be very quick, I promise.
No, just let them. Yeah, and then I did promise this lady here, and then I'll go to you. Okay.
Part of the presentation, which was cut short, was actually about our pre-notification policy and what we do and what we don't do in terms of informing residents of noisy works. And I apologise we haven't got around to doing that because we've run over elsewhere. But they are.
This is interesting information.
There are some slides that concluded in the handouts at the beginning. So
it's only because we're here that this work's been stopped for the temporary.
Here.
Tomorrow it's going to carry on. Nobody's told us anything at this meeting about what we're concerned about. Now get down to it.
Here.
But did you just hear Melanie say that she's the communications officer or whatever she is, community relations, and she's just said she didn't know about the work.
Who's accountable? That's what I want to know, Julia. Who's accountable?
We're going with your sustainability document, because I think it's important to stick to your policies and your documents. As Freya said, you have got a policy that says about responding in a timely manner and informing us. I think you've also got in your sustainability document, it says to provide a positive line-side environment for all neighbours.
Yep.
I question whether you are fulfilling this commitment by depriving any of your line-side neighbours of trees which have served for decades as a natural acoustic and visual screen. Are you aware that enshrined within the Human Rights Act is the act and the right for a peaceful environment to enjoy your property? So I believe you are in breach of the Human Rights Act. And I also believe you're in breach of the Human Rights Act tonight because some of your people have presented that there is actually a very strong risk of damage to a bankside, and a bankside that is 30 foot from my house. And if you are not informing me, I was one of the residents that didn't get a letter through the door.
Right, so we've got a question about your code of practice, we've got a question about this Human Rights Act.
On the first part, with regard to the code of practice and being a good neighbour, all of the things that you very eloquently read out then are part of our company standards, and we all aspire to deliver them.
But you haven't. You failed miserably.
My name's Mary Nolby. I'm a resident of Cromwell Road. I'm aware that right at the start, student mentioned our willingness, our wish to compromise. I appreciate the great detail that's been gone into here with the presentations. What I'm concerned about is that however detailed you are about particular trees, particular bits of gravel and embankment, you're subcontracting the work to a company who on 3 separate occasions we know has simply come in and clear-felled 3 sites that we know of. About 5 years ago, the work began here in the same way till Bob Mower phoned up, had it stopped. We know at Chesterfield this has happened. At the car park a few days ago, when your contractor, your subcontractor, a company that I believe has a colourful history, I don't want to go into
they say in the logs too.
They were asked, what are you clearing, what trees are going, and the person said, all of them. When challenged on that, he said, some of them. So however detailed and wonderful your presentations are, it doesn't seem to be filtering down to the actual work on the ground. So I'd like a comment on that.
And related, this is related to that. This is related to that. If your contractors were ever paid, partly or wholly in logs, for tree clearance work, such a contractor would have a vested interest in clearing as large an area of trees as possible. Yeah. Can you confirm categorically that your contractors are never paid this way?
Yes, I can.
Okay, that's on the record.
Can you answer the other question that was proposed?
Can you answer this?
In the green, please, yes. Do you want to repeat the question, please? Can you just repeat the question? Sorry, just summarise.
I'd like you to clarify the relationship between Network Rail and Capel, your subcontractors, who appear to be working independently.
Yeah. Question about contractors and their work.
Capels are working on specific instructions.
How specific would that be if they didn't know what trees they were?
I was not there when the communication took place.
But we were.
You were.
And that's what he said. He said, when I said to him,
I would get engineering.
When I said to you, what trees are you taking down? And you said all of them, and then you qualified just the ones at the top.
I think I'll get engineering support. Right. And that's why we're here today.
And why on Belmont Road has all of them gone then?
Yeah.
Why on Belmont Road have all of them gone then? And why did you say in
the people in Belmont Road, they wanted the trees.
You didn't.
They didn't know. They didn't know. I went knocking on doors. I showed them the one we got through our door. They
didn't know anything about it.
Presentation,
they were gone.
Swale clip.
In the presentation, it was said that individual trees causing large spikes are the ones that we need to concentrate and are targeted. But they're not targeting on those, they're taking all of them.
So can we ask a question about the monitoring and the targeting?
Have you seen Belmont Road?
Yeah, the trees that were removed, the area of trees that were removed on the other side of the road,
Belmont Road,
were a very specific location, a clump of trees that is directly affecting the track quality, and on the traces.
Is that the same with McDonald's in Chesterfield? The whole section there went as well?
Very similar condition, but the degree of effect on the track without going to look like they can't.
Vegetation with it, all the
shrubs.
It all goes into an industrial wood chipper. If anybody watched, lots of crowds actually came one day and people filmed it, and they just took them down and they put them into an industrial wood chipper, and there was nothing left. So if Capel's men, who the other day, when asked by Andy Finch, what qualifications have you got to look at these, to do a nest study of these trees? The guy said, I've got birds in my garden, mate.
Well done.
This is what they go into. This machine called Bandit is an industrial chipper.
Look at all the ivy.
They need to see.
With all the nests in it as well.
Okay, I've just asked John.